Hello everyone, this is Ep.12, and this is Kerbal Space Program. Still playing through the campaign here. Our last trip took us all the way out to Eve, but the stage wasn't really too good, and I got nuclear engines. So I've got this cool new nuclear engine stage that I want to test out, and I'm just going to speed this way up to ludicrous speed here to show you this weird thing that kind of happened here. I thought everything was going great. Stage was getting all the way up there. It is kind of heavy. Okay, it's really heavy. It's like super stinking, like ridiculously heavy. And as a matter of fact, when we finally get into outer space, I actually end up having a ridiculous amount of time trying to control it. So let's just, slow it down here. Regular speed. So you can see it's kind of compressing and doing all kinds of bad things. And I can't control it worth a darn. So I'm like, alright, well let's just see if the nuclear engines work then. Whoa, that's probably not good. And what the hell just happened? Okay, back to the drawing board. Alright, I'm just going to add some more fuel to this stage that already got me to Eve. So, this is going to be... Yep, so, same stage. We also use some science points to get a seismometer, and so that's kind of fun. Or maybe it's an accelerometer, I can't remember which it is. Either way, it's one that requires you to be on a planetary body. Like a moon, or a planet. So, everything looks good. Let's get into space. Oh. Yeah, this thing's kind of heavy. This is pretty much the limit that I think this stage can lift. Hey, we're not doing too bad here. So, pretty routine. Just walk through the staging. We're kind of wibbly wobbly up here. Kind of wibbly wobbly. Ooh, kaboom! That happened last time too. I'm not sure what that is. Why it explodes on that side and not this side. Kind of strange. So, we'll just go ahead and circularize our orbit here. Pretty standard stuff. We'll get a circular orbit around Kerbin, and then we'll attempt to escape Kerbin's sphere of influence as efficiently as we can to give us a periapsis. Or it might even be an apoapsis, actually. Yep, there's our circular orbit at about 100 kilometers. But now we need to get away from Kerbin and get out to Eve. Can't remember what was going on there, had to take a little break. So, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out to a decent altitude out there. Or altitude. Orbital distance. So last time I had a really hard time getting to Eve, so this time what I figure is, instead of coming in right on top of Eve's orbit, I'll come into it a little bit outside of it, and then hopefully when I swing in, that'll make it easier to rendezvous with Eve. That's the theory, at least. And so, ideally with this probe, we're going to get it to Eve with enough fuel in the interplanetary stage to let us get to Eve's moon, and then also get back to an orbit around Eve, top off, and then come down and actually land on Eve. That would be the Golden Achievement Award for this little probe. We'll see what we can do. So, of course, with 4 times speed, in no time at all, we get ourselves a good interplanetary orbit. And I'm just going to play around with the nodes here a little bit, see about possibly catching an interesting rendezvous with Eve. No such luck. We'll just correct the plane of our orbit to that of Eve, and we'll take that for what it's worth. As I zoom in, the marker's way off from where my actual ship is being drawn. I assume that's just has to do with the distances that are being shown. So we do a nice burn and get a good plane with Eve. And here I'm just playing around trying to find the most effective rendezvous using the least amount of fuel. And this one is actually really nice. I only end up using about a minute to get to Eve, which is great. Or a minute's worth of fuel. So we're just zooming right in on our rendezvous marker. Now, ideally, the correct thing to do is to wait for Eve to be in an optimal orbit or position to Kerbin, so that you just sort of do a quick little hop, sort of from orbit to orbit, and Eve just happens to be there when you end up, you know, slowing back down to rendezvous with Eve. It just ends up sort of being right there. I have no idea where that point actually is, or what that is supposed to look like. So I'm doing a lot of kind of just shooting in the dark here, shooting from the hip. And I have to admit, it's very rewarding when, like, you can actually make something happen, regardless of how inefficient it actually is. So here I'm just kind of fine-tuning my rendezvous with Eve. We came in at about, I think it was 80 kilometers last time, and way, way too high. So we're going to come in at about 60 this time and see how it goes. And we're coming in on the wrong side of Eve. Or at least not the side of Eve that I expect us to be on. But I figure it's no big deal. We'll take what we can get. We're coming in on the side of Eve. What harm could it be? You know, what harm is orbiting Eve this direction? So, we get good and close. And do a little bit of science, just check and make sure we're not missing out on anything. Still kind of at that diminishing return level. Just got to be careful about atmosphere and those solar panels. So we actually got a good atmospheric burn this time. My game and recording crashed last time, so you didn't get to see it, but I actually didn't get very much atmospheric burn last time. So as we come outside of that nice heavy atmosphere, it's not enough, so we hit the burners and pull our orbit down a little bit closer to Eve here. So I go ahead and set up right away a correction to my apoapsis, because it's really, really low now. Because we don't want to come back into Eve's atmosphere again and slow down even more, because eventually it will just slow us down and we'll crash. We don't want that. So we do some more fuel transfer, because that's something that I have to do with this setup. And I'm like, okay, good, we've got all this fuel in this stage. We'll top off our probe and let's try to find a intercept with Eve's moon here. Gilly. And of course, since I'm orbiting the wrong way, trying to find an intercept is really, really hard. I finally find one position that's an intercept, and it's pretty ridiculous. I might as well be coming into Gilly from an intergalactic trajectory, honestly. So the amount of fuel that I end up using here is massive, and I realize that, wow, I maybe, just maybe, might have enough fuel left over for getting away from Gilly and landing on Eve again, but, oh man, we're cutting it close. We're gonna be cutting it real close. So a little bit more fine-tuning, and there's our little good rendezvous. Speed things up, and yeah, this is what I mean. We just kind of come floating way the heck out here. Oh yeah, the maneuver map does a weird draw thing. I can't place a maneuvering node anywhere on that blue line. It just wants to put it on the return trajectory path. Very annoying. I just want to set up a maneuver node so I can stop around Gilly and land on it. Please? No, I'm just gonna have to be light on my fingers here. Okay, so Gilly's supposed to be there. Somewhere there. Oh, there it is. Hey, alright. Hey, Gilly! Wow, you're just kind of a rock. It's just kind of a rock. I love it. So we end up completely depleting that interplanetary stage, so definitely no landing on Gilly for, landing on Eve for us. But Gilly is right here, and we should have enough to... Whoa! Holy! Yeah, we have enough to land on Gilly, I think. I'm actually just end up using monopropellant for the majority of this. RCS thrusters are more than enough to facilitate landing on Gilly. And woohoo! Science! Alright! Everyone loves science over Gilly. Alright, maybe I'm the only one who likes science over Gilly. So yeah, Gilly, with its incredibly low gravitational influence, has my scope kind of off, where we're actually traveling incredibly slowly around Gilly. And we're kind of on the dark side here. So let's go ahead and land on the light side so we can see what the heck we're doing. And while we're in orbit, we'll max out our science returns on transmissions. So that's about that. Go ahead and cut our velocity. Give us an interesting approach. Gilly is so just kind of... I'm not sure what the word is. It's hard to even call this thing a mountain, that it's just so small. It's more just like this nebulous blob on the side. I was actually kind of worried. I'm like, I don't know that I can land on that. It's hard for me to tell if it would be like a mountain or a plateau. So I decide, even though I'm 7 kilometers up, that I'll just kill my velocity here. And I actually end up using my RCS thrusters to give me some downward trajectory. Or say trajectory, I guess force. Delta V. Go ahead and put down our solar panels, just in case. And it's a long time down, and I'm going really slow. But eventually, we get all the way down. Come on, come on. Whoa, hey, we're actually landing on a big hill here. Whoa, okay. Alright, turn it. Whoa, whoa, okay. Okay, so... having a little problem here with RCS and SAS, and I just about crashed the probe here. Oh my gosh, that's why you put your solar panels in, no matter how controlled your descent appears to be. So I'm just like, alright, maintain calm, recover, and there's something funny going on with my trajectory marker there. It's telling me that I'm going one direction. Finally, I just ignore it and just pay attention to the actual surface. And of course we come in for a good landing, and the stupid SAS wants to orient my craft straight up, and of course since Gilly has virtually no gravity, any sort of force will take you off the surface. I would imagine that a Kerbin on this would just go flying. So, again, we just bombard this thing with science until we get diminishing returns. And since we have no more fuel, that's about it for here. Gilly. Just a little tiny pebble. Let's see how many science points we got back. I think we had like 300 or 400 science points before we left. So let's see how many we ended up getting. Okay, so we got about 1,000. Got about 1,000 science points. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for sending a probe to a system we already sent it to, but to a moon we hadn't sent it to before. But, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.